This video is about solving equations with one variable on each side. Let's go ahead and try to solve the example number 1. As you can see, you have variable on each side, this y and this y. That is the same variable, and therefore we're just looking for the value of that y. What we can do is simplify this equation by using the addition or the subtraction property of equality. First thing you want to do is copy down the equation. You want to cancel one of the variables on one side first. So let's try canceling this 3y first. As you can see, it's a positive 3y. You're going to go ahead and do the opposite of plus 3y, which is minus 3y on both sides. Different signs subtract. Bring down the rest of the expression. Now the next term or monomial that you want to cancel is the constant minus 8. So do the opposite of minus 8, which will be plus 8 on both sides of the equation. Different signs subtract. On the other side, you have to add 12 plus 8 because they're the same signs. Now that we have monomial on each side of the equation, and you will see that between 2, the coefficient 2 and the variable y, that should be a multiplication there. So what we can do is do the opposite of multiplication, which is dividing by 2. In this case, you have to cancel out that 2. You have to do the same thing on the other side to make this equation balance or equal. 2 divided by 2 will be 1y, and 20 divided by 2 is 10. Our solution for y is 10. The value of y is 10. Now we have to check our work by substituting y with 10 on the original equation. Now to check, you have to copy again the original equation. Then substitute the y with the solution that we found. Then bring down the rest of the expressions. Now perform the operations on each side of the equation. On the left side, 5 times 10 is 50 minus 8. Will that equal on the right side of the equation? So the left side is 42. Let's find out if the other side will also equal to 42. They are equal, therefore it made our equation true. Let's have another example. We have negative 11 minus 3y equals 8y plus 1. So you want to cancel out one of the variables first on one side. Let's try canceling out 8y, which is a positive 8y. So all you have to do is do the opposite of positive 8y. You have to do it on the other side as well under the same or like term. 8y minus 8y will cancel out, and therefore on this side, on the right side, you will have just 1 remaining. And then on the left side, a negative 3y plus a negative 8y, same signs, you add. Then bring down the rest of that equation. Now you want to trim down the equation further, so let's go ahead and eliminate negative 11 by doing the opposite of negative 11, which is positive 11. Do the same thing on the other side. This negative 11 and positive 11 cancels out. So what is left on the left side is just this negative 11y. On the other side, you add 1 plus 11 will be 12. Now that you're down to one monomial on each side of this equation, therefore all you have to do is do the opposite of this multiplication between the negative 11 and y. Ask yourself again, what is the opposite of multiplication? That's division. Which number do we divide them with is the coefficient of that variable y, because remember we said that we want that y to become alone or by itself. Do the same thing on the other side, equation. A negative 11 divided by negative 11 is just 1y. You can have your final answer as an improper fraction, 12 divided by negative 11, or you can have it in mixed number. 6 minus b equals 5b plus 30. We have the same letter or variable on each side. So therefore this variable b has the same value. So let's go ahead, try to eliminate or cancel out some of the terms by doing the opposite or the inverse operation. This positive 5b can be canceled out by doing its opposite, which is minus or plus negative b. Do the same thing under this b. So minus or plus negative 5b. What remains on the right side of this equation is that positive 30, so bring it down. On the other side, you have to combine the negative 1b with the negative 5b, which is going to be negative 6b. Then bring down the rest of the expression. Now we have 6 minus 6b will equal to 30. Let's keep eliminating by doing the inverse or addition property equality. Now let's try to eliminate this 6 on this side so we can have that negative 6b alone. That's a positive 6, so minus 6. Do the same thing here on the other side. So what's left on the left side of the equation is just the negative 6b. On the other side, 30 minus 6 is 24. Now that we have one monomial on each side of the equation, look at the coefficient here, negative 6, and that b. It's a multiplication, so you know what to do? Do the opposite of multiply, which is divide. You want to cancel out that negative 6, so you divide by the same number, negative 6. Do the same thing on the other side. Why is it the same number? Because the same number divided by itself is just going to be 1. Then bring down the b. Or we can just say b on that side, right? Then 24 divided by 6 is negative 4. Now let's check our solution. Will it make our equation true? So our b is equal to negative 4. Let's substitute the b with negative 4. Looking at the left side of the equation, we have the b as negative 4, and then that minus sign is still in here, okay? So solving the left side of the equation, it's like multiplying a negative 1 here by that negative 4, okay? Because if you see a subtraction and then a negative 4 by it, it's like multiplying a negative 1 by that number that's another negative. Therefore, a negative 1 times a negative 4, you know they're the same signs. So this will just be a positive 4. Bring down the 6 here, so you have 6 plus 4 on this side. The left side of the equation is 10. What about the other side of the equation? Will it also be positive 10? On the other side, do not forget that this is multiplication between 5 and that variable b. So place that negative 4 inside the parenthesis, so it's going to be still multiplication. Positive 5 times a negative 4, they're different signs. Just go ahead and multiply. And then if they're different signs, your answer or product will be negative. Then bring down plus 30. A negative 20 plus 30. Don't we subtract them because they're different signs? 30 minus 20 is 10. Whose sign are we going to get from or copy from? Is the one with a higher absolute value, which is the 30, a positive. Is that equivalent to the other side of the equation? Yes. Therefore, our solution is correct, that b should be equal to negative 4 because it made our equation true. The next example is 5y minus 2y will equal to 3y plus 2. You know, on the left side of the equation, they are like terms, so we can go ahead and do this too. So you subtract because they're different signs. A positive 5y minus 2y will give you a 3y. Then equal sign, copy the rest of the expression on the right side, 3y plus 2. Then you can eliminate that 3y on the right side by doing the opposite or inverse operation. Both will cancel out because they're opposites. What's left on the right side is the 2. The other side is 0. Therefore, this equation is false because 0 cannot be equal to 2. Let's solve 5x plus 2 equals 2x minus 10. Eliminate the 2x by subtracting 2x on both sides. What's left on the right side is the negative 10. On the left side of the equation is 3x plus 2. Now eliminate that 2 so that 3x will be all by itself. Now you have monomial on each side. You know there is a multiplication between the 3 and that variable x. So eliminate the 3 by dividing by 3. So it will just become 1x. Divide the other side by 3. And negative 12 divided by positive 3 is going to be negative 4. And that's our final answer. But we have to check our work. Will this solution make our equation true? Different signs subtract, same signs add. It made our equation true. Now let's do practice on STAAR test questions. Do the distributive property 1.75 times 4x is 7x. 1.75 times 10 is negative 17.5. Eliminate minus 17.5 by adding it on both sides. 12 plus $17.50, they're like money too. So that's going to be 29.5. Divide both sides by 7 so you can eliminate that 7 and have that x all by itself. Approximately 29.5 divided by 7 is about 4.2. Therefore, our answer is letter C, which is 4.2. You know, there's a negative 1 here, so go ahead and do the distributive property. Bring down the rest of the equation. Work on one side of the equation by combining like terms. On the other side, you have to distribute the negative 2. Multiply negative 2 to each of the term inside. Now, you have to eliminate negative 6x, so you have to add it on both sides. Do the inverse of minus 6x. What's left on the right side is the 10. On the other side is 5x plus 8. Now you want that 5x to be all by itself, so subtract 8 here, subtract 8 on the other side. Now you have monomials on both sides. You know this is multiplication between, so you go ahead cancel that 5 by dividing by 5. So it turns into just 1x. So the answer is 2/5 or 0.4 as a decimal. Now let's try this item number 7 on your study guide. You don't have answer choices here, so we're going to have to come up with an answer for that m and place it in our gradable correctly. First, copy down the equation correctly and then do what you have to do, like distributive property. Eliminate this negative 4m by adding a 4m on both sides of the equation. You have 72 left on the right side of the equation. On the left side of the equation is negative m minus 10. You want that negative m to be alone or all by itself on that left side. So add 10 to both sides to cancel that negative 10. Now divide by negative 1. M will be negative 82. Eliminate the minus 2n by adding 2n on both sides. You may eliminate this 1n by adding or subtracting, subtracting 1n on both sides. Now you want that n or 2n to be alone, so you want to go ahead and add 30 here to eliminate that negative 30. Do the same thing on the other side. Now, to have that n all by itself, you have to go ahead and divide by 2. You're doing the opposite of multiply. What is the solution to 30x plus 95 equals 3 times 16x plus 9? Eliminate 48x by subtracting 48x on both sides. Subtract 95 from both sides. Now divide both sides by negative 18. Or x is 3.77. You may also round it up to the nearest hundreds place. How do you place your answer on your gradable? You may actually place anywhere your answer as long as that decimal point is in between the 3 and 7. Therefore, you're not changing the place value of 3. You're not changing the place value of each digit. You may shade in the positive sign or not. Without the positive sign, it's still positive. If you see like terms on the same side of the equation, then you go ahead and add them up if they're the same signs. If different signs, subtract. Now you want that 5x to be eliminated on that side, so you subtract 5x on both sides. On the left side of the equation, you want that negative 3x to be all by itself, so you're going to subtract that 12 on both sides of the equation. Do the opposite and multiply, so you can get that x all by itself. So divide by negative 3 on both sides. A negative 42 divided by negative 3 is a positive 14. Eliminate that 0.5x on the right side of the equation by subtracting 0.5x on both sides. Now divide both sides by 0.25. Therefore, our answer, or the value of x is negative 90. The last item on your study guide, 0.3 times 20x minus 16 equals 0.4 times 10 minus 5x. Now divide both sides by 8.